Hello Mercedes lovers. In this video I'm going to try and capture the steps that required to remove driveshaft flexible discs and trying to develop a good habit and have a list of tools listed before the job. So let's start with the tools. So the tools required for this job. You're going to need a paint pen to mark the relative orientation or position of a drive shaft and the flanges, the transmission flanges and the differential flanges. So when you assemble it in the same position as they've been before. Next one is going to be 19mm wrench, 18mm wrench. You're going to need some kind of a breaker bar. If you don't want to use the full strength of your hand, you're going to need a ratchet. Probably better like a 3/4 or sorry, like a 1/2 inch. You're going to need a 10mm socket on a long extension. You're going to need 13mm socket, 16mm, 17mm, 19mm and 27mm sockets. Plus you're gonna need probably a hammer and a couple of breaker bars, also that you can use it as a kind of as a chisel or something. So that's pretty much all the tools. Alright, so as you can see, I can spin the shaft now. I put the transmission in neutral, and now I'm gonna take my pen and I'm gonna mark so need a 19mm ball wrench. Okay, so we can pull this forward. Now I just need to take from the drive shaft. Okay, now we just need to somehow to negotiate this drive shaft out of the way. So let's see. Okay. All right, so looks like there's not enough room, or at least I can't remove the disc out because there's a little pin sticking out inside the drive shaft which prevents me from sliding it. So for that let's see. I'm gonna try and remove this plastic cover for the fuel pump and the filter, and then there's a little protection band that I'm gonna try to take it out, and then I can swing the drive shaft down. So guys, I got the Flexdisks out. Basically, what it comes down to, in order to remove the Flexdisk from here, you need to have enough room to swing the drive shaft down. So in order to do that, what you need, first of all, is you need to remove the exhaust bracket. So you need to remove this bracket. What it is, there are two nuts. Those are a 13mm wrench or socket. So you take the two nuts off and the bracket comes off. Then you move up and you pull down the plastic cover for the fuel filter and fuel pump. And then with a 27mm socket, you will see there's a nut here holding this kind of a metal band or protective security band. So you take this nut off and you can pull this bracket off. Even if you bend it a bit, it's not a big deal. Just pull it off like that, and that will allow you to swing the drive shaft down enough so you can remove the flex coupling. Alright, so let's see what does it take to remove the front flex disc. So obviously, looking at that, I can see that I need to remove the rear transmission mount so I can have access to the other side of the flex disc. And in order to do that, we need to support the transmission in the back. So for that, what I use, a motorcycle jack stand. So just preload, kind of release the pressure or the load of the mount. And we'll see if we need to remove any of the heat shields or anything like that. But for now, I'm just gonna take off the rear transmission mount and see if we can pull off that flex disc. Alright, well, the problem here is actually to set up the camera so I have enough room to work. So yeah, let's start removing the rear transmission mount. Yeah, 17mm is that. This one looks like 12. No, it's not. I guess it's 13. Okay. Okay, so I guess these are the bolts that are holding that. Okay, so the two bolts that are bolting, I guess, the mount to the transmission, 17mm socket. Okay, just loosen it up. Now I'm going to put a 17mm. Alright, so this takes care of that. Now we have clear access to the bolts, so let's take them off. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can pull this thing off. Well, and I can definitely tell that was a good thing that I decided to replace, because this thing is going out. Okay, now I just need my Alright, so this one's out. Now just need to see if I can, how do I squeeze it out? Ta-da! Well, we might have the same problem, and we might need to remove the heat shield to swing this drive shaft down enough. Before we do that, I want to try. And even though if I can remove the thing out, the problem's gonna be putting the new one in. So let's see if I can lower my transmission a bit, just to give me a little bit more room. Alright, so there should be an easy way. I just need to work on it. Okay, so it's the same bracket over here that's holding the shaft, so the shaft cannot go down anymore. All right. Well, finally I got those Flexdisks both out, and tell you the truth, I didn't expect it to be that hard to remove the rear one, and I actually was anticipating to have more problems removing the front ones, but as turned out, is actually the front one is not as difficult to remove. So looking at these two Flexdisks, and you can see, well, you probably can't because it's kind of hard, but like I said before, the rear one looks to be original. It's this SGF brand, Mercedes logo. I'm not sure what that is. GAD 135. There's a part number right here. Was the 124 411 02. Okay, sorry, here 124 411 0212, and it's in a really good shape. I would say it's in like a 99% on a scale of 100. It has a little bit of a, I'm not even sure if it's kind of a cracks or this is just some dirt on top. So like I said, it probably was a wasted effort on my side to remove the rear flex disc. So I will look if I want to put the new one in. Now also to mention, and I guess a note for myself, because it doesn't say anywhere actually forward reverse, but as I recall, the side with the markings and the part number was in the back, was towards the engine, so it sits like that. So the differential is on my left hand side and the engine is on the right hand side, so the markings go towards the engine. The front one, I think the markings go towards the rear. So basically if you're looking like that at the engine, like that, so you would see the markings and everything. So looking at the front one, even though you can see the rubber itself looks fairly new, no cracking, basically yeah, it looks in a much better shape than the rear one. But okay, manufacturer, so it does say SGF, so that's an original. There's the Mercedes logo. I think there's a part number here, 124 411 0515. Okay, and you can, looking at that, I can see that it already started failing. Not a lot, it probably would have survived, but I can see that. Okay, where's my, I'm losing my focus. Okay, here I can feel that this is moving. Like if this is solid, so, and I think that was the part that go to the drive shaft, so I can feel that the ones that go to the drive shaft are moving, and you can see it's actually kind of off center and it's moved. If you compare this one to this, you can see that this has moved a bit. So I guess at the end there was a right decision to remove it and replace. Like this one's really bad shape. It's really loose. So I got this removed. Now I'm just waiting for the parts to come back and we'll put them back.